call the meeting to order.
Okay.
Dan, second.
Second.
Anyone? Linda?
Second.
Okay.
Yep.
All in
Linda?
favor? Any opposed?
Nope.
Carried. Do I hear any nominations for board president?
Gene Civic.
I have a motion from Dan Whipple for Gene Civic. Do I hear any other motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Gene, you're the president.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, I'll do nominations for vice president. Do I have a motion
Nominate-
for vice president?
Nominate Linda Gratz.
Second.
Second by Stacy. Do I have any other nominations? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Linda. All right, the next, I will have you all participate. Raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of board member of the Board of Education for the Oacsd Central School District according to the best of your ability?
I do.
I do.
I do.
Okay. Welcome, 2021 board members.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. You sure you don't want to do the rest, Mars? You were doing so good.
It's all yours.
All right, thanks. Thank you, everyone. All right, we'll move forward. There's quite a bit here. And I think in the past years, we've tried to consolidate the sections. As far as the appointment of officers goes, it's probably best that we take them individually, just so everybody knows who they are. So I need a resolution to, or I need a motion to approve Marcy Hill as the district clerk for the school district.
So moved.
Danny,
Second.
Kathy, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay, if we have any questions, just jump in. There's so many, I'm just gonna move along here. I need a motion to approve Kelly Tessar as the district treasurer. I believe Kelly works for the central business office.
Still move. Second.
I think that was Stacy and Kathy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Christopher Hellman is the deputy district treasurer, also a central business office employee.
So move.
Linda,
Second.
Stace, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, Marcy's a busy lady. She's gonna, a motion to approve Marcy as the district tax collector for 2021.
Second.
Linda, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That Janet Klein be appointed the deputy district tax collector for 2021. Linda, Kathy, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay. And that Bob Farrell be appointed as the claims auditor for the Owego School District. He's the internal claims auditor.
Internal.
Stacy, did I have a second?
So move. Second.
Okay, Linda. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's carried. All right, the other appointments, I'm gonna let you look through these. This is our, the Guthrie Medical Group, our school district attorneys. Once again, Marcy is here with the appointment to the extra classroom. the central treasurer for the extra classroom. Jill is the controller for the extra classroom. I'm not sure. Our CPAs are in there for our external auditors. Joe DeCosmo is the records access officer. Ron Bieber is the asbestos designee. I didn't even know we had one of those, but it makes sense. Blake Rowe as purchasing agent, again, another central business office employee. Joe as the designated chief emergency officer for the district. Bob is the designated education official for the district. Again, I'm not going to read all of these. I need a motion to approve section 5's resolutions. Is that okay, Marce?
Perfect.
So moved.
Second.
Linda, Kathy, does anyone have any question on those appointments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, those are carried. Okay, trustees, and this is always an interesting one. The Health Insurance Consortium. Correct me if I'm wrong. Danny, did you take that last year?
I did.
Are you still okay with that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So this states that Danny Whippo would be the board designee for the Health Insurance Consortium, and the remainder of the board would be in his stead if Danny can't attend the meeting. So
Yeah, Gene, I was never notified of any meetings.
they
So I attended
Marcy,
the meeting.
can you make sure that they have Danny's name? That might have been the reason why.
Correct.
I think the lady, the secretary she's over at UE, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Could you make sure that she's got Danny's name? Because I know that I got some of those in the past, but I think I had it before Danny, so I suspect that she didn't have Danny's name.
Yeah, there was probably only one that he missed because I don't think there was a spring one.
Right, they canceled it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that should fix it, Danny.
All righty, thank you.
Welcome. So I need a motion for that.
So moved.
Kath,
Second.
Stacy, okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's carried. Not sure now on the workers' comp. Was that you, Stace?
Now
It's still Linda.
That's
me.
still Linda?
And we have a new group this time,
That's
right?
right, that's right.
Yeah.
So, what do we think, folks? Is that still gonna be you, Linda, or?
Fine.
All right. Okay, so if Linda is appointed the designee and the remainder of the board are the backups, is everybody okay with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I need a motion then.
So moved.
Danny,
Second.
Jason? Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That's carried. Okay, we'll do the same thing with section 7 as we did with section 5. This is for our banks, our monthly meetings, the newspaper, giving the district the authorization to invest surplus funds, the look back period for the Affordable Care Act, and the records retention and disposition. I need a motion for section 7.
So moved.
Linda. Second? Is that you, Danny?
No. Second.
Second, all right. Any questions regarding designation section 7?
Question,
Stace?
who's the bank that we use?
We use several. If you look, they kind of spread it around as you would expect. Where we go. Banks. Look at section 7. Oh, I thought they were listed in there, Marcy. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
They were.
They're still there.
Yeah,
Didn't see him.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
yeah, there
Okay. Yeah, Tioga State, There were several. I guess
Okay, I just wanted to make sure Tioga State Bank was in there.
oh yeah, Tioga State, then you saw JP Morgan Chase, M&T, pretty much all the banks that are in the
In
community.
the area.
M&T for Niagara, Chemung Canal, Key Bank, and
Yep.
Citizens.
I see them now. Yeah, I knew they were there because I saw them earlier, but must be I didn't click on it right.
I just wanted to make sure Tioga State was included.
Oh, absolutely. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Any other questions on section 7?
Nope.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Okay, authorizations. These are the payroll certification, the petty cash, the authorization for conferences and workshops, all those things, the cell phones.
Transfers.
Yep, transfers, budget transfers, and
Borrow.
borrowing funds. So I need a motion to accept section 8.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Jason, and I didn't hear the second. I think we got a couple people.
Second.
Stace? Okay. Okay. We got a motion and a second. Any questions on the section 8? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's carried as well. Other items. Okay, this one we need to take individually. It's at least the first one. This is the board representative. Is this the one, Mars, with all the
Yes.
different committees?
Yep.
Um,
Policy, finance, building projects, curriculum, HR,
well, for some reason, I was still showing the banks on.
now legislation and technology.
Not sure why it's not coming. I'm not seeing that. There's a matrix, as I recall. Oh, wait a minute.
It's under the content tab.
There it is. All right. So, I'm not sure I remember all these, so I'll ask for a little help. The policy committee, I don't remember who that was.
Stacy, were you
Stacy?
calling?
Stacy, yep,
Okay, you still okay with that, Stace?
yes.
Okay. Building projects,
And that was Stacy also.
was I on there too, Mars?
No, I did not have you there. I can add you.
Well, just as a backup to Stacy, I'd be interested in her to
Yep.
help with that.
Okay.
I think I had the finance committee.
Yeah.
Curriculum council.
Oh, Bessie, I think that's me, but I'd prefer someone else take that one.
I got you.
Let's just say that it's not my skill set.
Was that you chomping at the bit for that, Mike?
No, I think that was Dan that was coughing to volunteer.
Understand.
I could do that if you'd like.
That would be great, Jason. Yeah, I think that's.
Man, Jason,
That's a good idea. That's great.
sorry, I just know there's other board members that are probably more qualified. Should there ever become an actual meeting for that?
Right. I totally hear you, Kath.
HR,
HR,
I had
Linda?
I had the
Yeah.
next two.
you got the next two? Okay. Pupil personnel services.
I think that was me.
Kathy, correct.
You want to keep that one, Kath?
That's fine.
Okay, good. All right, legislation.
Was Mike?
That was me.
Yes.
Okay. And finally, technology.
Was Jason?
I'll do
Jason,
that. That's
that sounds
fine.
good. That works. Okay,
Yeah, no problem.
so with all of those filled in, then I guess I need a motion.
So
moved.
moved.
Danny, and was it Kathy?
Yep.
All in favor? Aye.
All right.
Oh, that's carried. As far as the rest of, let me get caught up here. No, we might as well just do them individually since we started. 9.2 is the mileage rate reimbursement. which is formed by the IRS, and the school district is just complying with that. I need a motion.
So moved.
Linda? Stace? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that's carried. Adoption of board policies, result, okay, then. Need a motion on that one.
So moved.
We adopt all policies. I think it was Jason and Linda. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, that's carried. Okay, we moved through the reorg meeting and we're moving now into the, I need a motion to reconvene into regular session.
So moved.
Linda?
Second.
Danny, okay. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're now in regular session. I need for the consent agenda, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting held on June 29th, 2020.
So moved.
Linda? Stacy? All in favor? Aye.
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 And that's carried. So now we're getting to some new business, the personnel consent agenda. I need a motion. Everybody's had a chance to look it over.
So moved.
Stacy? Do I have a second?
Second.
Danny? Okay, any questions regarding the personnel section of the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor?
Sorry,
Oh, I'm sorry, you have a question, Ken?
little delayed.
That's all right.
So all of these football people are volunteers. It says rate is NA. I'm assuming it's volunteer.
Correct, yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kat. Any other questions? All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? That's carried. Now moving to the remainder of the consent agenda, I need a motion.
So moved.
Danny?
Second.
Linda? Any questions regarding the remainder of the consent agenda? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? That's carried as well. Okay, we have a resolution, superintendent school awards to the, oh no, we just put it, sorry. All right, going to the superintendent's highlights. I'm not sure if we're hearing from Bob or from Corey.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. Just, we did receive some guidance today from New York State. Everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes.
We did just receive some guidance from the state education department today. They've had some committees that they've been working on across the entire state over the past probably 3 to 4 weeks. And so we received some initial guidance today. And I don't know if some of you got a chance to see some of the governor's comments regarding some of the guidance that's been given. It's pretty lengthy. It's pretty intense as we probably imagined. It's pretty much spot on for the most part what we had been talking about for a couple of weeks in terms of what things may look like when the fall comes and some of the requirements and guidelines that go with it. There's an inordinate amount of protocols and guidelines that are going to need to be established as we move forward and prepare for this fall. The way we read it right now, he's given 3 options, I believe, that we're required to implement is an in-person option, a hybrid type model, which we have discussed, where kids would be in school certain days of the week and then remote learning the other days of the week, and then completely a remote learning option for those families that so choose to go that route. We're still digging in a little bit more into the fine details of the traditional piece and really what that looks like. for us as a school district. So it's very preliminary at this point. We've really got to, with our committees, go through all this information and make sure that these are all things that we can accomplish as we move forward, because there's a tremendous amount of, as we're well aware, in normal times of we see a lot of unfunded mandates, and this, you could times it by about 1,000 of the unfunded mandates that are going to come with this, and the cost that's going to come with it as well. So we've got a lot of work to do over the next few weeks before we submit a plan. We're scheduled to submit a plan July 31st to the state as far as what these options will look like. From a positive standpoint, we've been having these conversations for a couple of months now, and we've been kind of working behind the scenes. That we may run into some of these options. So there's also criteria built in that if where you're working directly with the Department of Health locally, and if there's an increase in of COVID cases to a certain percentage, you can automatically be shut down. And let's hope that we don't get there again, for sure. But there's just a lot of information that we've got to dig through here. I mean, they put out this guidance. I can just tell you from a 30,000-foot view that we're going to have a ton of health and safety and disinfecting and protocols and things in place, not only just for our students. It's certainly going to be a huge lift for our parents and also for our staff members as well. So this apparently is the new normal, and we're going to have to make all the adjustments possible as we move forward. Not saying that I love it, for sure. I don't. If we had it our way, we'd be right back to normal and kids in school and in class every day. This is the guidance and the parameters that we're being given by New York State, and so we've got to be prepared to be able to follow those.
I have a question about our
Sure.
our meetings. I received
Yep.
an email just before this meeting from Pete, Georgia. We have a meeting,
Yes.
Dean and I, this Wednesday. Do you know if that is a Zoom meeting, or are those in a building somewhere?
No, that one, it'll definitely be done virtual. I'm not sure if they're going to use Zoom as the platform or Google Meet. I would bet that they're going to use Zoom. I'll have to double check with them.
Okay.
But yeah, that way we felt we could get better participation from different stakeholders if in the case that some weren't comfortable coming to an in-person meeting. And as far as flexibility with schedules as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's coming up. So, obviously you're going to hear, I'll send you this initial guidance tonight so you can take a look at it. And, and then I think obviously we're going to dig in a lot deeper in those committee meetings, because we've got to turn this thing around in a matter of about 2 to 3 weeks here. So there's a lot to cover in a short amount of time. The same thing goes for health and safety. That committee's moving forward. Anybody else? I think Kathy, you had interest in being on health and safety. Did anybody else want to be on that committee? If you do, just shoot me an email. Let me know. I'll have them add you to the committee. So
Dan, I got the email from Emily Crawford about the health and safety, and it's a Zoom meeting.
Okay.
So I'm assuming he's going to get your name to whoever's in charge of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we received the meeting. It just didn't say where the meeting was or if it was a meeting. I
okay.
would have contacted him, but I read it just before this meeting, so I thought somebody here would know.
Yeah, I read it just
Yeah.
before the meeting too, Danny. I didn't notice.
I'll
that
double check. If it's not Zoom, I'll make sure they switch it to Zoom so everybody can just click on the link and
Okay,
they're
good.
used to use. Most
I'll be
people are used to using
So
that.
Zoom works for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. We can do it to Zoom. Not a problem. So we're, as I said, that's, that is primarily what we're looking at. We've got a ton of work to do. At the same time, our number one goal is student achievement and doing the best that we can do for kids and helping them achieve at their greatest potential. And, we've got some scenarios that we're going to face, and we're going to have to just keep working through them to do the best we can do.
Corey, you said you were going to email us those guidelines that came out today?
Yes, I will. I have them right in front of me. I'll shoot them to you here just after this meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So is that it, Corey?
Yeah, that's really it. I mean, we're knee deep. I should say probably more. We're probably more shoulders deep in this right now than knee deep. And again, it's all uncharted territory for us. I think, you know, as we had discussed before, roles are going to change. You know, there's going to be a lot of change that comes from this, and you know, some could be good. I think some positive certainly can come from this in some sense, but I think, you know, there's just got a lot of role changing that's going to happen for our staff and across the entire district, from, you know, our support staff to our teaching staff to our administration. We're just going to see a huge shift in how we go about educating kids.
Okay. Corey, we have, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Budget wise, if there's remote learning going on, you know, obviously you don't need buses and all this stuff. Do those people get furloughed, or how does it work?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not at that point, I don't think, yet, Mike. We don't have enough clarifying information from the state as far as what the overall requirements or leniency on regulations. They've put out some initial information on regulations and that we just saw today, but we haven't really gotten that far at this point. I think one of the things we have to be prepared for is it's probably going to create more work, more transportation, and more ways to meet the needs of kids through different venues. And I don't think it's by any means going to create less work for anyone. But then again, I don't know, depending on if they change a regulation that says, you know, we no longer have to produce X in a certain area, then, you know, that could change drastically. I think you're seeing in other states, you've probably seen some of the information where they have furloughed some staff based on what the state's guidelines and requirements are for teaching and learning and what those specific areas are. So some of the specials areas across other states in the country, they have seen some furloughs, but I don't think we're anywhere near seeing that at this point, based on what I've read initially.
Okay. Is there stuff in there about special education?
Yeah, there definitely is. I can share that with you as well. I think, you know, the 30,000-foot view of what I see is, you know, obviously under the circumstances, to be able to get those students in an in-person setting as much as you can, based on the guidelines. So there's some leniencies in terms of some of the services provided. But I think, you know, all in all, the message, I think, really, when you read it, is it needs to be a high priority for schools and determining, you know, what groups of kids that we can get in and most frequently.
Right. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, you know, as we dig into this a little bit more, and I'll send it to you as well. So you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. I think we're going to learn a lot more over the next, you know, 7 to 10 days in terms of some clarifications on certain things. They typically put out these guidance documents, and then, you know, there's a ton of clarification that has to happen afterwards. So we'll have more clarity on what we're actually looking at.
Isn't there
as we
another
move forward.
document coming out in a few days?
There probably will be. I'm
Yeah, I
looking
think
at the
so.
one. I'm looking at the one right now from the New York State Department of Health, and just from the health standpoint of what's required, and that came from the Tioga County Health Department as well. And there's some specifics in there that obviously that are directly related to our schools. So yeah, there'll be more guidance. That they don't ever get it in one shot typically.
And where does sports stand?
Nothing at this point. They haven't really taken a stance on that. You know, looking at this guidance, I'm skeptical based on what I'm just reading on the on this documentation from the Department of Health. I'm hopeful. I certainly think kids need that. Kids need to be able to move forward and engage in different ways in a safe way. And you know, I just don't know what that's going to look like. There's a lot of scenarios. I know that the New York State Public High School Athletic Association has had committees going for several weeks now, and they've had different scenarios where they've talked of flopping sports seasons based on contact and non-contact sports, and what sports they think could be safe at the moment and what sports that they still need to consider or need more time to be able to address. So they haven't come out with any final information on that at this point.
Good.
So as soon as I hear that information, I'll certainly share that with you, and I'll share this stuff with you tonight so you can see just kind of what we're facing, as a board and a school district as we move forward. As I said, we've got the committees ready to go. We've got some folks from different stakeholder groups that are going to be involved in those committees. We've done some thought exchange surveys that have gone out. We've gotten great information from folks on that. They've really shared some tremendous thoughts. And we've done a Google survey with families and students, and we're going to do more surveys to come here in the next week or two, specifically to parents again and to our staff as well. I think this affects everyone. It certainly affected the kids in a tremendous manner, and our parents. And one of the things we can't lose sight about for sure is that this has affected our staff a great deal too. And there's a lot of social and emotional stuff that comes with these types of changes of what's occurred over the last 4 or 5 months. And we've got to be prepared to be able to meet everybody's needs, based on how they're feeling and their thoughts. And so far we're getting great feedback, and it's all very, very relevant information that we can use moving forward.
Did the state mention anything about upstate being different than downstate, or is it just be once you
Not
figure out?
not at this point. They did put some documentation in there that showed some current statistics of what the transmission rate currently is, and then if the transmission rates were increased. I'd hate to give you the number, but I want to say it was like 9%. If we were to see a 9% transmission rate in Tioga County, then there's the potential that they could shut us down.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's really on a case-by-case basis at this point, in determining, when do you have to shut a specific building down and for how long, and what protocols and guidelines have to occur, or disinfecting has to occur in between that. There's still a lot of gray in that we're going to have to work our way through. So none of this will be concrete, I don't think, even as we get more guidance. I think there's still going to be a lot of gray in there to where we're going to have to make a ton of decisions on certain scenarios of situations we deal with this stuff. So yeah, they haven't really, other than he's just said, basically it's going to kind of be by region that they will analyze, which is a good thing, I think, based on our regions have been in pretty good shape. But who knows moving forward.
I just had something personally affect myself and my family. Wondering if they're going to set up a way for you guys and the staff to get tested quickly and get the results back fairly quickly. It seems to be a runner.
Yeah. It seems to be. So we've already been dealing with it a little bit with some current employees, and so we do actually have the right to ask people to go be tested. Now, right. Whether their doctor will set that test up for them or not is another question. We've had situations where doctors have said, no, you don't need to get tested. You don't really have all the symptoms that you might have. But what we're learning is that there's actually opportunity for them to go get tested on their own if they want to initiate that. So I don't know, based on the rights and I'll just say the state that we live in general. As we move forward, I don't know exactly what that's going to look like in terms of us being able to demand certain people to go get tested. I think currently what we're hearing, we can, but that's
See,
based
my
on what the
it
initial.
would be is if a student in the classroom comes down with it, can the teacher and anybody else immediately go get tested so that they can in turn go home to their family and, all of
Sure.
that.
Yeah, I think, yeah, hopefully, yes. I think, one of the things that I think when you read a lot of this information is and maybe it's getting better, but the false positive on a lot of these tests has been like 50%.
Gotcha.
So, it's a roll of the dice whether, when if somebody's actually got it and they actually tested positive or they've, or they don't have it and they've tested positive. So there's a lot of that going around too, because there's so many different testing capabilities, I guess, at this point, or types of testing that it's creating some of this uncertainty.
Hey, Corey.
Yes.
So reading the regulations and reading the governor's guidance today,
Yeah.
much of the guidance keeps pushing towards cohorts. You're going to hear this word
Yeah.
cohorts
Yeah.
over and over and over again. The idea behind cohorts are self-contained groups of students.
Yeah.
So what happens, so you're going to have to think about school in the following fashion. In elementary, it's pretty straightforward. I go to school, I'm in Mrs. So-and-so's class. That's my cohort. I never leave that group, right?
Right.
So
Right.
if a kid does test positive or some family member or something like that, then that cohort can be, we can build protocols around one specific group and
Right.
not the entire school. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's kind of what they're recommending. If you read the recommendations and you read between the lines, that's kind of where it's going.
They were referring to that like as bubbles, weren't they?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's correct.
So in the high
That's correct.
school too. So you can imagine you're going to be with a cohort of kids, and that cohort's going to if they do travel, they travel together and all day long, and they never really, so you're not going to mingle like you used to.
Right.
So that's the way to keep contact tracing low, if that makes sense, right? As much
Yeah.
as possible. You can't control it when they all come in the door necessarily, but once you're in the building, that is where it's heading, and based on the guidance, if that makes sense. So in terms of testing, you can conceivably seeing this go where, okay, a positive case comes, that group is then out and they're out on remote learning at that moment.
Yeah.
So as you read through the guidance, they continually say you must always be ready for the hybrid approach. You're always ready for the virtual throughout the year. It could be the building, it could be a group. That's the flexibility we're going to be talking about, and you're going to be hearing more about, at least from what I can gather from the guidance.
Right.
So
One of the
testing
things-
thing, you make a
Yeah.
very good point about
Yeah.
the testing point. It's
I've
out of our
had-
control. It really
Yeah,
is.
two different. I've sent my employee to Binghamton
Yeah.
to get tested. That took 48 hours. But
Yeah.
I had my son
Yep.
be sick and we were exposed. So we didn't dare leave the house. And luckily, because I threw a fit, I got him into Lourdes for a 4-hour test.
Right.
But that's because I completely lost it. Do you
Right.
see what I'm saying?
I
I mean,
do.
it's not
And
norm. They weren't going to.
it's not clear right
Maybe-
now.
Yeah.
This isn't clear on that.
Yeah.
So we're going to build protocols much like what I just described. And then from there, it's going to be some guidance about what happens once that, I mean,
I
it's,
think, the other piece too that Bob and I had talked about a little bit previously, and I don't know if you're on some of the social media stuff, you see there's been some simulations done of what a kindergarten class might look like, or what a 5th grade class might look like, or what your 10th grade student class might look like, or high school. And we've talked a lot about this, and we think this is really important moving forward, that we create some video simulation for people to really understand what it's going to look like. We talk about remote learning and hybrid learning and traditional learning. Well, it's not going to be as traditional as it's always been. We may be able to reduce the class sizes down to a manageable number, but there's also going to be a ton of other criteria and guidelines in place where, whereas kids in classrooms now, they flow, it's fluid. Like they're in between centers and they're working with partners and groups. And this just doesn't allow us to do much of that at all. So I think we got to be prepared to educate parents on what that's going to look like as we move forward. And it's not fun for anybody, I don't think, but I think we owe it to everybody so they can see, under these particular guidelines, what we're going to be dealing with and what it's really going to look like.
Makes sense.
Yeah, false positives is an issue. I know somebody was positive Thursday, went back Tuesday, and he was negative.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Meantime, everybody panic, but I think that's happening quite a bit, and that, and then these kids, a lot of kids are very resilient, so they're not even going to show signs. They could
Yep.
be carried
Yep.
for a week. So
Yeah, I agree. I think, we, and again, I think we're going to spend a lot of time this summer with staff on remote learning, training opportunities, hybrid approach, more flipping the classroom, which our staff does a lot of already. They're way ahead of the game in a lot of this. And, I think that, a good solid couple of months of opportunities in those areas to where they can grow as well, knowing that, if things spike up again, we could be right back to where we were in March. Let's hope not, but let's be prepared for it. So, that's all we can do. We can prepare for what's put in front of us and tackle it head on.
Okay.
week by week, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
All right. Corey, we got the wellness policy. Are these first reads in the concussion protocol?
Yep. They're first reads. So these are committees. Yep. We don't need to approve them tonight. They're just committees that first reads, and then we'll approve them at the next meeting.
So we'll just ask the board to look those over when you have time, and we'll see them again in the next board meeting. Not sure. We must have skipped over
I have some.
from
I have a couple public comments from
Okay.
Karen Hall. The first one I'll share. She asks, can we utilize special ed staff to help with services? Absolutely. I think we're obviously going to need our special ed staff to continue to service our students with disabilities first and foremost. But I think that, one of the things we're looking at in our approach that we've been talking about is really an all hands on deck approach of, what can we do in the confines of the regulations and the situation that we're in to try to meet all of our students' needs. So, we talked a little bit about, and I know the principals have talked to some of their staff about this as well, about, academic intervention service teachers now might have to become the classroom teacher because we have to reduce those numbers down lower than what we're normally at. So I think right now that's open for consideration. I think everything's open for consideration right now as we try to work through this. Her other question was theoretically the cohort would work in elementary but not high school. Potentially yes and no. I think in the high school setting, it's challenging with all the different classes that the students take. There's the idea or thought that you could move the teacher and not the students, but we offer so many different courses from the arts to music to our college courses that we offer, a multitude. I mean, a kid can walk out of our high school with 60 credits at a community college and other college credits as well. So working through all that, yes, definitely is going to be a challenge from that cohort approach with the upper level kids.
Those were certainly good questions. That was it,
Yeah.
though, Corey?
Yeah, that's it. Those are the couple questions that I see
Very
right
good
now.
question. Okay. Then
So
I guess-
certainly, we're going to have more information to share with you. We're going to, we'll have obviously some board representation on the committees, and we'll certainly share information out to the rest of the board of how the committees are coming along. If you get a chance, take a look at some of the thought exchange comments that are out there. There's some really good, thoughtful information from people. And there'll be more and more. I think this week we're going to launch more of the academic models, which makes sense now that we've got a little bit of guidance from the state based on what we're looking at. And we did do a Google survey that you saw some of that data on a few weeks ago from parents and students, just based on, what they're thinking as the fall comes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then, we don't have a need for an executive session, so I guess I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Linda,
Second.
Stace? Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed?